Hey, Mitch.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Ed.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. How's it going?
Pretty good. What are you doing there, buddy?
Well, I'm just polishing my Martian ray gun with my nuts.
Martian ray gun?
Yeah, from Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Ever since Droppo has become Santa Claus on Mars, I always bring out my Martian ray gun around this time.
Ed, you've been sniffing too much mistletoe. That ain't real.
Yes, it is. Watch. Hey, Mitch. Do you mind
Yeah.
coming over here for a second? I need to warm my nuts. Hi, this is Ed Dollister,
And this is Mitch Ho Ho Halleck.
and welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for joining us. If you are a regular viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Before we get into today's Yuletide topic, Mitch, how can you find out a little bit more about the show if you're new to the channel?
Oh, Ed, it is easy as going to see an ancient wizard on the planet of Mars who talks in rhymes and riddles. All you do is hit the little subscribe button down there, and you too will be subscribed to Mitch and Ed as we blast off for another excellent adventure. And you'll be notified if you hit the little bell when that does happen, and hit the like button because it makes everybody else find us. And that's it. But Ed, my heart is filled with Yuletime cheer, and I've decked all my halls and I've filled all my mistletoe because I know this is the show that I look forward to all year. And we're going to talk about one of the greatest movies ever made about Christmas, right?
Is Santa Claus Conquers the Martians the worst Christmas movie ever?
No.
It's not.
No,
Thanks.
that
That's all we
I
got
was
time
gonna
for.
okay, see everybody. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, drive safe, and tip your waiter. Goodbye. No, the worst movie that we're not going to cover because I talked to you about this. I think that has to be 1985 Santa Claus the movie, starring John Lithgow and Dudley Moore, made by Alexander
Salters?
Saltland.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, the Superman people. Right after they just made Supergirl, they came out with this movie. In fact, the same director of Supergirl directed this movie, Santa Claus, and David Huddleston, Michael Huddleston. He played Santa Claus. But anyway, that movie's horrendous. It was supposed to be this big epic. They made it look like Superman, and they had like the Fortress of Solitude and all this. It was epic. It was a big epic turd. It was just terrible. Dudley Moore was bad. Lithgow was actually not so bad. He was over the top. But anyway, that's neither here nor there because I said to you, why don't you watch Santa Claus Conquers the Martians? And that could be your pick, and I would do Santa Claus. But then after further review, I didn't think Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is as bad as the reputation it gets.
I absolutely agree. I watched it as well just to refresh my memory, and yeah, it does get a bit of a bad rap. Look, it's not the world's greatest movie, and it never set out to be the world's greatest movie. It was made in 1964. It was filmed in like 2 weeks. A lot of the
2 hours,
actors,
but sure,
yeah,
yeah.
true. A lot of the actors were essentially Broadway performers or stage performers.
Yeah.
Sure, it was low budget and everything like that, but I feel like the heart is in the right place for this movie. It's got a good Christmas spirit. It's got a fun, catchy Christmas tune. Hooray for Santa
Hooray
Claus.
for Santa Claus. Yeah.
We can't. I don't. It's funny. The film is out of copyright, but I think
the
the
music's
music
not.
is still by copyright. So if I can play it and I don't get a content match, you'll hear it right now. Otherwise, it's back to us in the studio.
Okay, there you go. But I was gonna say, I did not see this in the movie theaters, like you always ask me.
I know. I
Because
didn't think you would.
it was made before I was born, but I do remember it fondly because I have older sisters. And when I was a mere child, about four, a lad of four, I remember this was on the local TV here in New York,
Mhm.
Channel 9. out of Secaucus, New Jersey. It said, Santa Claus conquers the Martians. And when you're a kid and you hear that, you're like, oh my God, Santa Claus, that's like, Superman. And Martians, that's like, Jaws. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be a throwdown. There's going to be like violence. There's going to be candy canes as weapons and nunchucks, and elves are going to be dying. My 4-year-old brain was like, just the movie that I made in that head has yet to be made. But it came on and that song started and I'm getting juiced up and I'm like, yeah, all right. But even as a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, maybe, you could tell the production values were a little not there. Okay.
I think there was a sale on skivvies. And
Yeah.
you know what I also like, one thing, the Martians with their
helmet.
headgear, if you
Yeah.
notice, it's just the helmet turned around and they're wearing it like the other way.
No, I was trying to figure it out too. It looks like a scuba diver's mask
Yeah, that they've
on
stuck
the
to
head, but it's
back.
upside down. Yeah.
And then they've moved the and they've just
Helmet.
turned the helmet upside
And then they
reversed
added
it.
that weird like pipe thing off to the side. I was like, if I had time, I was gonna make one of those for the show because I'm like,
I was thinking that last night. I go, oh, remember the days when I did my like THX 1138
Yep.
helmet and that? And I'm going, oh,
No,
maybe
did
for
you
this
did your
one, no.
Tron helmet? I thought for
Yeah.
sure you were going to show up wearing that thing. In fact, if we could do the magic of special effects, you should just get those and we'll just wear them for the whole
Wear 'em
show.
for the whole show. That's
Yeah.
right.
No, but it looked like that. And I was going to tell you, there's a couple things I noticed on production wise. When you ever film anything, you let the film roll a little bit, like they go,
Yes.
lights, camera. That's that. There's a reason why it comes in that
Order.
that order. Yes, lights. Make sure the lights work. Sometimes they would even say sound because they had to make sure that the sound was rolling, the mics were working. Then they say lights, camera. Make sure the cameras are ready. The film's rolling. And then you say, go on, Mr. Director. Then what happens? Action. Okay, there's a couple scenes in this movie in the beginning that looks like they said lights, action, camera, because it wasn't an editing thing. It literally looks like the film was rolling after the scene had started or something, because I'm like, did that just like jump cut or something? No, that was it. It's like the reporter's talking to Mrs. Claus and you see this white light like hit it as if the film was just turned on and exposed to the light. There's something not right there. And it happens not once, but about 4 or 5 times in this movie. Like they just said, we don't have enough time, quickly film this thing. And they just turned the camera on and go. And yeah, it was weird. So,
well, I think the first giveaway that it's a low budget show is that they've misspelled in the opening credits costumes. It's costumes. Did you notice
I thought that it might have been an English thing, like color.
So I thought that was pretty funny with how it was. But that's how it is.
You know what?
Yeah.
The reporter that we were talking about in the beginning of the thing who interviews Mrs. Claus, big first thing. Ed Werdemer, who would appear later on The Jeffersons as the doorman, Ralph. But that is the first time Mrs. Claus is ever portrayed on film or in cartoons and any of that stuff. That's the first representation of Santa's significant other, is Santa Claus conquered the Martians. So there.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think that it predates, I think, one of the, is it the Rankin Bass special?
Yeah, Rankin and Bass, yeah. Rudolph, that was like, that was 66. Right. Yeah, so it's 2 years before that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So we should say what basically the premise is that Martian children are basically adults. They've been pumped information, but basically they're hooked by watching videos from pretty much 24 hours a day. Now, this is pretty on point for what's happening today with,
it's ahead of its time. Yeah,
it is. It actually is. And one of the
60 years ahead of its time. Yeah.
Yep. So Leonard Hicks played Kimar, the head, or the ruler of
Did
Mars.
you notice the names though? I caught that on viewing. Okay, Mar, short for Martian. King Mar, because he's the King Martian. His wife is Momar because she's the mother. The children are Bomar because it's a boy Martian, and Gurmar because she's
Yes,
a girl
yes.
Martian. So I get that. I don't understand Droppo though. I don't know what the hell that's short
Because
for. Dropped
Droppo's a
on
little
his
bit
head?
like, he's clumsy.
Yeah, he's clumsy.
And you've
But
got
go on.
Voldar. You've got Voldar,
The
the,
bad guy.
the bad guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you've got all
With the
these. So basically,
must-
yeah, that's right, with the handlebar mustache. I think he predates. That was pretty progressive back in
you knew
1960.
he was the bad guy because all bad guys have mustaches.
That's true. That's true. Oh, yeah, but I've got this
You've
to
got that saves the day.
That's right. So basically, all Martian kids are watching, are hooked on
Too much TV.
Earth TV,
Yeah, they're not
and they
kids.
see Santa Claus. And what basically they go visit this basically Yoda.
Yeah, right? Like Gandalf or Yoda. It's like that guy. He's just there in this weird, cloudy, misty world, and he just shows up and he talks
Just goes,
like Spaceballs. He sounded like Mel Brooks from Spaceballs, like yogurt. This ancient, but I thought it was actually pretty decent for so far in this low budget movie. He was creeping me out, man.
and the cut where he appears and disappears is pretty good.
A little smoke bomb.
And basically, he says, "What you need is Santa." So they decide to kidnap Santa. So they come down to Earth, and they find this brother and sister, Billy and Betty, and basically go, well, "Hang on a second. There's all these different Santas," because I think that's quite funny. They zoom in on New York,
Yeah.
and there's Santa on every corner. So what do? They talk to these kids and go, "No, they're Santa's helpers. There's only one Santa in the North Pole." So they go visit him, and basically they bring out this robot as well.
Well, the kids get stowed away on the ship. They like kidnap the
Yes.
children. It's like, we can't let these kids know about us. We have to take them,
That's
which
right.
is kind of scary. But
Yeah,
Droppo
and-
saves them. He puts them in that radar box.
That's
It's a radar box because it says right on it, radar box. And there's not
I
a lot
wonder if
parts in
if
there.
Lorenzo Semple Jr. was watching this and going, that might be a good idea for the Batcave.
Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just like opened it up and they went inside and they closed it. I'm like, where are the works in that thing? So
I know, and we should say Droppo is the servant to Kimar, and basically he smuggles aboard as well.
he's a
and,
goofball. He's a goof. Yeah.
He is. I mean, how does Droppo? It's one of those.
Oh, Droppo just nuked the whole planet. You silly goof.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. So basically, they kidnap Santa Claus, and they want to bring him to Mars to spread the joy of Christmas.
Oh, but you mentioned the robot. You mentioned that robot. Again, 4 or 5 year old little Mitchie. I was terrified of that thing. I would later on be terrified of giant Muppets. Sweetums. But
Yeah.
that thing, and then there was the polar bear.
I know. What about the polar bear?
It was some type of hairy thing that it looked like.
What I liked is
would have been that.
it
So.
could have been. What I liked is that you could see there's a
Costume, the head.
They did. Well, I know it's a costume. There's a Blu-ray release of this. It's in
What?
public domain. Yeah, there is. But
I watched it on YouTube for free. I wasn't paying.
I watched
money
it.
for
No, I watched it on YouTube as well. But there's a full HD version on YouTube.
Oh crap!
Yeah, but you can see that he's obviously just put on the head over the top, but he hasn't blended it in or anything. So it's a little bit terrifying.
They're
So
making this
basically-
movie. They're thinking no one's ever going to be able to freeze frame this or see in high definition.
I
It's
know.
1964. Half these kids are high on LSD. They ain't going to get anything. Little did they know.
I know we'd come along.
Yeah. So anyway, they
So they
escape the-
freeze
the polar
the
bear, they leave.
the elves
Oh.
and everything like that. I do like how Santa, goes after she's been frozen. Well, this is the quietest she's ever been, and then he just leaves Mrs. Claus, which I think was pretty funny. But Voldar, who's against this plan all along, the bad guy with the handlebar mustache, basically, he's trying to thwart. He tries to kill Santa. He actually tries to eject Santa
Space.
and the kids out into space.
He ain't fooling it. He ain't playing around. He's a mean SOB. You know what? It's a good thing they had so much stock footage of the U.S. Air Force that they cut to again and again and again
Yep.
because that it looked like World War III was about to begin a couple times. Yeah,
Well, they do that a lot in a lot of those films from the 50s and 60s.
I know, but it's
don't
like
you?
we don't need to go film this. Call the army up and see if we can get some footage of soldiers running in missiles and
And people with,
aircraft.
dials and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Oh
That's right.
yeah, definitely so. So anyway, the bad guy, he's foiled though eventually
Yes.
by our hero Droppo.
Droppo, who basically takes on the mantle of being the
Santa.
Martian Santa Claus. And it's a happy ending. for
Couldn't tell the
everyone.
difference when he
Apart from
wears
his
that
green-
costume.
I know. He still had his helmet thing on and everything.
I
It was-
know, and plus the green skin. Hello.
I
but-
know. But,
and
maybe it was
anyway,
the lighting.
No, and at the end of the movie, Mars gets a Santa Claus. The children become children. They're happy. I know they're happy because there's a very bizarre scene where they all just start laughing uncontrollably for a
Again,
long time.
Do you reckon the writers at Scooby Doo saw that and go, you know what? That's a great way to end an episode when we don't know what the hell we're supposed to do.
That's how you and I end each episode.
That's right. It's true. Are you all right? You've gone a bit red.
No, I want you just to cut that, and we'll just use that.
Okay,
at the end.
we'll use that at the end.
No, no.
So that's pretty good.
It's true.
We should say,
Lonely.
Pia Zadora, who
Yes.
most people would remember as a starlet from she
Butterfly.
starred in Butterfly. I remember that poster for Butterfly. I didn't see
remember
the
with that
film because I
garden
was only
hose.
11.
Yeah, she
But,
did some wrong. She did some wrong things with a garden hose. There's no two ends about it. You should not be doing that with garden tools.
With either end. What do you mean? There's no
That
two
was the
ends?
American. That was the American version of it.
Really?
Wasn't Xavier
So-
Cugat?
I don't even know who that is.
He used to play like a xylophone.
Bongos?
No, I thought bongos, but that's Ricky Ricardo. That's Desi Arnaz.
He's doing
Yeah.
a robot impersonation? Is that
No,
what he's
that's
doing?
they played the bongo. Babaloo. Bum, 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 bum.
And
Anyway.
this is why you shouldn't mix your medication with eggnog, children.
No, and
Sorry.
anyway, but you would think that Santa Claus Conquers the Martian would be relegated to the dustbins of the world because it was such a bad movie. Hell, it was not. It became a long treasured memory in people like me and you and all the rest of them out there because this movie continued to live on.
It
Not
did.
only was there a Dell comic book that's
Yes.
actually quite pricey because I went to go get one for the show, and it can go anywhere from like $30 to like $100 for a good copy. So I don't
we've
like
got
the-
no budget. We've got plenty of budget for that, Mitch.
Exactly.
But that's
So
all right.
anyway, it's a comic book. And
They released a single of the Hooray for Santa,
Santa
Claus
Claus Conquers the
and
Martian.
music. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was actually turned into a play, Mr. Theatrical person.
Yep. It's
They did
been
a lot
done
of
yearly with since 2000, I think, 6 as a Christmas play, and it looks kind of fun. I suppose most people, and I hate, well, I'll admit to it, I actually don't find Mystery Science Theater very funny.
I never
at
thought
all.
it was I never thought it was funny. I thought the idea was okay. And a couple times I'm like, yeah, but it gets old fast. Like about
I think I've
2
said this maybe in a previous episode. There was an Australian group called Double Take Meet the Astro Zombies that were in the 80s that basically would do they do live. You go to the movies and they'd be up the back,
Yeah,
and it'd be sort of like a live film that they. So I always felt that someone from Mystery Science Theater saw these guys and
rip them
you know,
off.
I'm not saying that they did, but that's what I
I
mean,
heard that somebody ripped off our show and turned it into a thing about eggs and chickens.
That's right. Anyway,
So anyway, I don't think there's action figures on this one. I know there's no lunchbox. I'm surprised you just say there was a high quality DVD of this thing because I thought, why spend money? Because you can find it for free all over YouTube. In fact, when you're done watching us, you can even tag it. You can go watch it on Christmas.
yep. I think it's fun. The high def one is pretty good. They did with the I think with the Blu-ray maybe 2000 and the most recent one. They also did a illustrated storybook they brought out
Oh.
from the point of view of, I'm going to say, of Droppo,
Rappo?
I think. Or no, maybe it was one of the kids. Maybe it was Gima or
Maybe, yeah.
Beamer. I can't remember, but it was sort of a tongue in cheek sort of, look back at
Goymar or Gurmar. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what's weird? A lot of this stuff is weird, but the guy who played the dad seemed very familiar. I don't know who he is. He looked like he was on Star Trek.
Now, you know what? It's weird you say that because he reminded me of
John. Oh,
one of the Cardassians.
yes. It can't be him because he was too young.
It's not him.
Michael Adante.
Yes.
Who played come on. Dukat.
Dukat.
He was the main bad guy that fought Cisco all the time. Gul Dukat. But it's not him.
No, but he had the same like the same vocal patterns. Yeah. He looked similar, and I had to double check as well. But it wasn't him, but he does sound a lot like him. Sadly, Leonard Hicks is no longer with us, or Bill McCullough. Most of them aren't, unfortunately. But Vincent
Droppo, is Droppo still with us?
I don't think so, but he is he's been in a few things you would have seen him in. But it has got a cult status. It isn't as bad as everyone thinks it is. It's not great, but it's it's cheesy fun. And if you want it's
better than Santa Claus the movie. I'll tell you that. I'd rather watch this than that crap again.
Well, I think we'll have to do Santa Claus the movie next year for our Christmas special. We can build up the resilience to watch it again, But I'd recommend watching it. It's kind of fun, and at least watch it once and make up your own mind. But I tell you, you'll get that.
I'm gonna tell you, if you got little kids, I bet they won't even notice it's bad. They'll probably think it's okay. Because I did when you're 4 or 5, before the world beats you down, like they say in Field of Dreams, you'll accept crappy movies like this and think they're epics. This is better than The Last Jedi, in my opinion. It's got space. It's got like bad green makeup that sometimes wasn't applied right. It looks like they put it on with their hands and forgot.
It's got men in skivvies and matching underwear on the outside. It's got
bad guys with mustache. It's got polar bears. It's got robots who attack Santa in his own thing. It's got machine guns by the army guys.
It's got lots going for it. It's got a catchy tune. Yep.
Catchy tune. Pre-garden hose.
I'm gonna have to Google that. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, you don't want it.
Okay. No. Anyway, that's what we've got to look forward to. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Look, I graduated. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for tuning in, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy holidays.
Whatever they celebrate on Mars.
That's right. Christmas, of course.
Who knew baby Jesus was on Mars too?
That's right.
I think we should hang out with that guy.
Which guy?
The wizard dude. He looks like somebody you want to party with. I bet that guy.
I'm sure he's got a sitar somewhere there. I can imagine.
I mean, that's the guy the Beatles followed. I'm like, that Maharaja.
That's right.
Maharishi. Yeah.
Anyway. You know what else? If you want to follow him, you can also follow us. Mitch, how can you do that?
Oh, Ed, it is as easy as putting on a football helmet backwards with a scuba diving mask and a pipe and pretending you're a Martian. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button on the bottom, hit the notification button too, so you'll be notified when we go on another excellent adventure, and hit the like button because it's Christmas and you have no soul. So why don't you do something nice, you big Scrooge? And that's it.
That's it for Mitch and Ed's excellent adventure. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Let's end laughing.